Drake is hungry to go round two with Kendrick Lamar.
Let's get it. Boom!
Kendrick just topped off a blockbuster summer by announcing he'd be headlining next year's Super Bowl halftime show. After delivering a chart-topping knockout blow with Not Like Us and an insane victory lap with his Juneteenth pop-out concert in LA, this Super Bowl announcement is just the latest example of Kendrick stacking up win after win against Drake. As we discussed before, Kendrick even seemed to beat Drake at his own game. But Drake's latest moves show that the beef is far from over. What we're gonna do today is break down Drake's new strategy to reignite the beef with Kendrick by analyzing everything he's done since the smoke settled. What happened to Drake's plans to let the battle die down? How did his surprise 100 Gigs project try to reclaim the narrative? And what sneak disses are hidden inside of Drake's newest songs? We've even gone further by analyzing Drake's new battle strategy. Is Drake going back to his mixtape roots in order to stage a major comeback, or is this all just a sign of desperation? Finally, we're gonna dissect the breaking news that Kendrick will be headlining next year's Super Bowl halftime show. Drake just last year claimed that he was big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl. And that one didn't age too well.
Big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl.
What the deal, everybody? My name's Kendrick Lamar, and I'll be performing at Super Bowl 59.
At first, Drake really seemed like he wanted to put the beef behind him. In the immediate aftermath of Kendrick and Drake trading disses, Drake hinted that he was eager to turn the page and focus on something else. On May 12th, just a week after Kendrick released Not Like Us, Drake put up an Instagram story that featured a drawing of a samurai warrior facing down an army. The story included the caption, "Good times, summer vibes up next." The message seemed pretty clear. Drake was downplaying the back and forth between him and Kendrick and wanted to move on. Drake's first post-beef appearance was on Sexy Red's song You My Everything, which dropped on May 24th. The song even featured a section where Drake rapped on the viral BBL Drizzy beat that was cooked by one of his newer ops, super producer Metro Boomin.
BBL Drizzy, they want a new body, they asked me for it. The last one, John, he did it for free cause I sent over so many past ones for him.
BBL Drizzy was meant to poke fun at Drake's alleged plastic surgery, but on You My Everything, Drake used the beat to brag about buying BBLs for the women he admires. Even though it was a pretty creative flip on a beat designed to diss him, You My Everything peaked at number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100. Then on June 4th, Drake released this strange collab record called Wagwan Delilah with Toronto artist Snow Day. The song features Drake singing an interpolation of Hey There Delilah, a Plain White Tee song from 2005, and a heavy Jamaican accent.
Wagwan Delilah, no I'm late cause there's bad traffic. I just showed my dog your gram.
The song was so left field that a lot of fans were just confused. A video surfaced of the Plain White Tees themselves listening to the song in disbelief that Drake actually recorded it. More than anything, Wagwan Delilah inspired a lot of mockery. People even claim that Drake's Jamaican imitation was real-time proof of the cultural appropriation label that Kendrick tagged him with on songs like Euphoria.
You know I got language barriers. It's no accent you can sell me.
Then on June 9th, Drake quietly deleted all his posts on Instagram that referenced the beef, including posts that announced diss tracks like Family Matters and The Heart Part 6. Drake really seemed like he wanted to put as much distance between him and the battle as possible. But when Drake pivoted to those summer vibes he was talking about, he didn't quite get the reaction he was looking for. He recorded two songs, Hot Uptown and Ugly, with Camila Cabello, but when the album finally dropped, it sold a disappointing 36,500 copies, debuting at number 13 on the Billboard charts, which is Camila's first album to not chart inside the top 10. Adding insult to injury, DJ Head, an industry insider and longtime associate of Kendrick Lamar, implied that Drake blocked Camila Cabello from releasing Hot Uptown as a single because he was worried about how being on a pop record would look while he was in the middle of a rap beef with Kendrick. Plus, Drake was using another fake Jamaican accent on the song, adding even more credibility to Kendrick's attacks on Euphoria. Drake also dropped a 2-pack of songs with the EDM producer Gordo. While the songs Healing and Sideways received positive reviews, neither tracks were released as singles and neither one of them managed to chart on the Hot 100. Since Drake's summer vibes weren't exactly panning out, he decided to pivot in a really dramatic way.
Me as a music lover and fan, loved seeing that.
Yeah, me too. On August 6th, Drake surprised everyone by promoting a new platform called 100 Gigs. The website featured a treasure trove of unreleased Drake content, including 3 new songs, studio footage, tour rehearsals, and unused cover art. With a whopping 100 gigabytes of material to sort through, 100 Gigs featured a rare behind-the-scenes look at Drake during some of the most pivotal moments of his career, from the recording process of hit songs like Trophies to making reference tracks for Kanye West. Fans celebrated the footage as a much-needed retrospective of Drake's record-breaking, decades-plus spanning career. Some even noted how the footage added completely new context to some beloved Drake songs. In one clip, Drake can be seen discussing the 2016 song Too Good with his mom, where he confirms that the song was meant to be about his ex-fling, Serena Williams. Just weeks later, Drake decided to re-up on a whole new data dump on 100 gigs. Not only did Drake put out another 3-pack of songs, but he also dropped even more never-before-seen footage. While this avalanche of new material at first seems like a random hard drive dump, 100 gigs is actually way more curated than you might think. In fact, a lot of this archival footage seems like a way for Drake to shape the narrative around his beef with Kendrick. In one clip, Drake is seen listening to an unreleased beat with his longtime engineer 40, where the two of them discuss getting Kendrick to do a verse on the song.
Oh, but when he told me Kendrick, it just made so much sense. Oh, what was this brilliance? Oh.
Not only does this material seemingly predate the decades-long tension between Kendrick and Drake, but it also paints a picture of Drake extending an olive branch to Kendrick way before things got heated. In another video that quickly went viral, Drake is seen backstage at the 2013 OVO Fest, where it clearly seems as if he's deliberately ignoring the Weeknd in front of a group of people before finally dapping him up. Some fans commented that it looked like Drake was deliberately trying to sun the Weeknd, speculating that it was because the Weeknd declined Drake's offer to sign to his label. Drake even releases soundcheck footage of him and Rihanna performing their hit collaboration Take Care, which seems like a pretty pointed shot towards his former collaborator turned enemy turned Rihanna's baby daddy, A$AP Rocky. On one hand, 100 gigs saw Drake trying to curate his legacy. On the other hand, it also looks like he was still being as petty as possible. But Drake's provocations to restart the beef were a lot more direct in his new music.
So now, those that hated him on the low, the DL Drake hate is out there in the open. He's like, okay, now I know who hates me, who loves me. Now I know who's on my side. Round 2 is coming. Round 2 is coming.
While Drake avoided naming names, his 100 gig songs packed numerous references to his various beefs. On It's Up, Drake linked up with Young Thug and 21 Savage and seemed to fire more shots at A$AP Rocky. After dissing Rocky on Family Matters, Drake seemed to have spun the block again, rapping,
Knocking off the name brand in your crew. Heard you miss your dogs, now long live.
This not only seems like a reference to Rocky's debut album Long Lived A$AP, but a callback to the internal strife and tragedy that has plagued Rocky's now defunct group A$AP Mob. Not only did founding member A$AP Yams pass away of an overdose in 2015, but Rocky is currently facing criminal charges for allegedly shooting A$AP Relly in 2021. 21 Savage also sparked controversy for lines that seem to target Kendrick Lamar.
Made a couple songs, think he hot now. Hit his ass up, he think he pop now.
Since 21's a close collaborator of Drake and was name-checked by Kendrick on Not Like Us, theories started to go viral that Savage was inheriting Drake's beef with Kendrick. However, just a day after the song dropped, 21's team clarified to DJ Academics that Savage was not dissing Kendrick and the whole thing was just a speculation. It seems no matter how tight 21 is with Drake, he really does not want all the smoke. Drake seemingly referenced the beef just a couple weeks later when he dropped No Face, a collaboration with Playboi Carti. Drake seemingly addresses his former allies turned ops, rapping,
Got lit off the features I skated on. I gotta know how you get lit off the you hating on numbers untouchable, they got the data on it.
When you break it down, Drake not only seems to be calling out artists like Kendrick, Future, YG, Rocky, and The Weeknd who he previously worked with, but also promoting the theory that Kendrick's record-shattering Not Like Us streaming numbers were juiced by bots. We actually broke down and investigated the same exact conspiracy in a previous video. On No Face, Drake even teased that he was plotting to attack Kendrick again.
And I came back reloaded. I'm just so happy that who envied and held that and got to finally show it.
Drake even doubled down by posting a clip on social media that featured former Detroit Pistons player Rasheed Wallace promising to win Game 2. But is Drake's new strategy with 100 gigs pure genius or pure desperation?
But I mean, we could kind of look at this as kind of an antic, no?
By uploading new music to his 100 gigs website and Instagram, Drake pretty much bypassed the traditional release model. Instead of dropping new tracks directly on the streaming platforms, Drake seems to be trying out a mixtape strategy to preview his big comeback. These new songs are intended as standalone singles, like Lucy's, intended only for fans. While songs like It's Up didn't initially premiere on streaming services, they were later uploaded to platforms where they put up impressive numbers. It's Up pulled in 2 million streams in just one day, landing at number 28 on the Hot 100. But it's totally possible that Drake would have put up even bigger numbers if he debuted the song on streaming platforms directly instead of on 100 gigs. So what is the master strategy here? It's possible that by releasing releasing music on 100 gigs and then putting the songs on streaming, Drake is avoiding being directly compared to Kendrick Lamar's blockbuster numbers for Not Like Us, which is still in the top 10 with 17 plus weeks on the charts. It also gives Drake an opportunity to soft launch his music for core fans. Instead of targeting a broader audience, Drake can still release his music without the kind of scrutiny that might come with a high-profile comeback rollout. It also meant that some of Drake's new music isn't exactly cleared for official release. His new song, Blue Green Red, was removed from streaming because of a copyright dispute over the sample. And when No Face landed on streaming, it was missing the Playboi Carti feature from Drake's 100 gigs release. But this release strategy isn't new territory for Drake. In fact, he's been doing this his entire career. Some of his most well-known songs like Hotline Bling to 0 to 100 and Summer 16 were all released non-traditionally instead of being dropped as official singles. While that might seem counterintuitive for an artist that focuses so much on numbers, it also gives Drake a chance to connect organically with his fan base and build buzz without worrying about trying to top the charts. When you add up all the songs Drake's dropped recently, and we haven't even mentioned some of them like SOD, Circadian Rhythm, and Housekeeping Knows, you basically have enough songs for a whole album. This strategy basically makes it intentionally difficult for industry insiders to keep up. It's almost as if he's waiting for the right song to hit big so he can stage a takeover of the charts. While all this is going on, Drake's new maneuvers have come with some criticism. After Kendrick called out Drake for being a colonizer towards Atlanta artists, many fans noticed that Drake was still leaning heavily on A-Town rappers for support, since Young Thug, 21 Savage, and Lotto are all featured across the 100 gigs drop. By avoiding an all-out chart battle with Not Like Us, Drake still hasn't dodged the allegations that he's trying to fire shots at Kendrick without directly engaging him. But it's hard to believe that anyone, especially Drake, was ready for that announcement that Kendrick would be headlining next year's Super Bowl halftime show.
Did you know Kendrick Lamar is performing at the Super Bowl? What?
Kendrick famously appeared at the 2022 Super Bowl in LA alongside Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and 50 Cent. But his upcoming appearance in 2025 makes Kendrick the first solo rap artist to ever anchor a halftime show. Not only is this a history-making accomplishment for Kendrick Lamar and his company PG Lang, but it's also yet another chess move in his war against Drake. On First Person Shooter, Drake's chart-topping collab with J. Cole, Drake bragged about his team up with Cole as being as big as the Super Bowl, only for Kendrick to swoop in and literally grab the halftime show for himself. The announcement that Kendrick would be performing at Super Bowl 59 also came with some blowback. Lil Wayne, Drake's longtime mentor and label boss, was widely seen as a top contender for the 2025 halftime show in his hometown of New Orleans. Charlamagne the God spoke up on The Breakfast Club saying that while he was happy to see Kendrick hold down the halftime show, a Lil Wayne headlining slot would have probably guaranteed an appearance from Drake himself. And that is definitely not happening now. Not to mention, the announcement triggered a pissed off rant from none other than Nicki Minaj, who defended Wayne and insinuated that Kendrick's selection was all part of a conspiracy instigated by none other than Jay-Z's company Roc Nation, which works closely with the NFL to produce the halftime show. Finally, Kendrick's halftime show announcement came with a pretty obvious rebuttal to all the talk about Drake making a comeback. In the promotional video, Kendrick says straight up,
"You know it's only one opportunity to win a championship, no round twos."
It sounds a lot like Kendrick heard all that talk about Drake wanting to re-up for Game 2 and choose violence. Did Kendrick's Super Bowl announcement throw another wrench in Drake's game plan, or are we just moments away from seeing tensions escalate all over again? Only time will tell, but make sure you stay tapped in with us to hear it here first.